All right. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Consult a Blind Guy. I am sorry I'm late. I know I said I was going to be here at noon to 1 every day this month, but unfortunately, this morning the internet decided to take a crap on us twice, so I was without for a few hours, and I decided that I wanted to get on here and do this for you all as I promised I would every day. I am doing this challenge here as well as on Facebook. I go live here before I go live on Facebook. So you are actually hearing everything for the challenge before I complete the challenge on Facebook for Leda. And today, we're on yet another personal topic. And today's topic is, what are your dreams? What are the dreams that you want to do, want to be, or want to accomplish that you usually would not speak on or share with people and might be afraid of attempting to accomplish for whatever reason you might be holding yourself back? And I decided that I was going to actually touch on each of them versions, what I want to do, what I want to be, and what I would like to accomplish. So, this is going to be a little bit longer of a Leda challenge for me because I am going into each kind of a topic rather than just putting it as what one dream or what couple of dreams what I want to do specifically and just sticking with that and calling it good. I'm actually going to reference what I want to do. There's going to be a couple different ones that I would like to do. There's a couple things I would like to be, and there's a couple things I would like to accomplish. Each of them is different. Each of them has their own different challenges and reasons why I have not spoke on some of these. Some of them I have spoke on, but yet I still haven't done much, or I have done a little, but not enough to accomplish some of these goals. And some of them I feel I will never be able to do at all, just because of the situation I have that makes it difficult for some of these things to be accomplished. So, with that being said, here come the nerves. And I'm going to pull up my notes. I do actually have my cell phone here so I can read comments if anybody does decide to say anything. I will do my best to keep an eye out to respond to you. I would like to thank you all for watching this video and giving any feedback that you do give or comments. If you're here for the replay, thank you. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can stay updated on the next video and latest you uh, live streams you don't want to miss this month because I'm going live every day. Alrighty, let's get into this. Pull up my notes here, and as I said, today's mission is, what's that thing you want to be, do, or accomplish that you're afraid to speak on or about or set out to do? All right, and I broke this down, like I said, into each category for 3, so we'll go with question 1. What do I want to do? I've always dreamed of traveling the world, being somebody that has a vision problem. I have always wanted to travel. I have actually traveled, thankfully, with my father and a couple of my personal friends who are truck drivers, semi drivers, that have thankfully allowed me to ride with them. So I have traveled through many of our states, but I have not actually been in each state long enough to state that I've been there, because I didn't go see anything. I didn't stay the night or anything like that. It was just a quick shot right through in a semi. If I did spend a little bit of time in there, it was going to be maybe a couple hours passing through or going into whatever depot that we had to stop at for dropping off the semi load. Because of that, I would like to see more than just stuff here in Michigan. I have seen a great deal of my own home state, but there's still a lot of stuff here I haven't seen. But I would also like to adventure out and see other historic sites and places of importance, not only here in the United States, but in Canada, in Mexico, South America, Africa. Yeah, I would love to travel the world and see as many countries as possible. But I don't think that's actually going to happen. Why don't I think this is going to happen? Well, that's a good question that we'll get to in just a minute. I'd like to go to like New Zealand specifically, or South America and Central America specifically, so I can meet some of the other tribes that are in those areas. Because of me being a native, I have many teachings that show our interconnectedness throughout history, which shows us trading our medicines and different teachings throughout the years. And I believe that it would be a great experience for me to not only go and see these other tribal cultures, but it would allow me to further educate myself and possibly meet some friends that I've had for a few years online as well that are tribal members for those particular nations. As we have a lot in common when it comes down to our cultural teachings and stuff like that. So it would be awesome. I also have the dream that I would have loved to go to space as an astronaut or to be a deep sea diver. I wanted to do this because I have always enjoyed the idea of learning about the unknown. Space is like a vast area that we have a very, very little understanding about. We're still relying on NASA and all the other space agencies to give us information, but yet they're still having their own difficulties being able to understand things to be able to share it with us. Same thing with deep sea diving. There's just so much down in like the Marianas Trench that is still yet to be discovered, and I think that would be awesome. For instance, did you know? I know this is a little bit off the topic, but did you know that we actually have transparent, 100% transparent fish, frogs, sharks, all these little creatures for amphibious animals or fish creatures or ocean creatures that are actually transparent? You could, if you're lucky enough to find one of them, because I have seen some on the TV, but it's like looking at one of our overlays, kind of, in the sense that you can have an outline of something being there, but you could still see through it. In some cases, like one of the fishes that is transparent in the Marianas Trench, its whole brain cavity is on the top of the head, and that's where the eyeballs sit too, and that you can see them like little bumps, and you can actually see the fish brain underneath the eyes. The whole the whole body is transparent to the point to where you can see a brain, like looking at our own brain. I think that's interesting, and I would love to see and learn things like that from doing stuff like that. But like I said, I don't know if that'd ever be possible. Okay. I have dreamed of doing a church that would be globally recognized I would like it to be a true help to the people rather than some of these wonderful churches that we have, especially here in the United States, that very, very much irritate me. These super mega churches who have millions upon millions of dollars, and their pastors go out and spend ungodly amounts of money on private jets and mansions and these gigantic churches that they don't necessarily even fill. And when a disaster hits, these people say that, oh, we're people of God and we're here to help our community and things like that. And then they actually don't. They actually deny people service. And I think that's wrong. And I would actually like to do something to change that aspect. I have actually worked a little bit on something about that, but I haven't finished it. It's a long process. The next one is, what do you want to be? Now, I'm sure some of you are probably going to say you're kind of crazy on this one, but I've always wanted to be the president of the United States or the chairman of my tribe. I think if I was to be elected, it would be nice to be the first native president. I think that would be awesome because the highest position in office or in the government that a Native American has actually had is vice president. And I think it's time we have a native president. This is, after all, originally our country. I think that if I was to be able to do this, I would be able to benefit not only the country as a whole and improve on many things, but if I was to be able to be a tribal chairman as well, if I couldn't be president, because tribal chairman or a chief of the tribe is pretty much the president of a country itself. Those two there are definitely one of the things that I've always dreamed of since I was a kid that I don't know if I'd ever be able to do. And as I said, I am going through these of what I want to do first, and then I'm going to give the reasons why I don't believe that I'm going to accomplish these after this. I want to give you the what I want to do, what I want to be, what I want to accomplish, and then I'm going to go into why specifically I don't think it will happen and why I haven't acted on some of the things to do it. So bear with me. I am actually trying to reference just my notes and speak on them, because if I was to not break this down, I would be literally sitting here reading to you probably for about an hour, because I went hardcore on this one. I kind of dwelled on it for a little bit last night. I was actually watching Leda presentations as I was starting on this at about 1 o'clock in the morning. I went to bed at almost 3 o'clock this morning, and since the internet went out this morning, I have been typing even more into this. So I have a huge list of things I'd want to do and the reasons why I don't really want to talk on some of them and why I've been afraid to talk on some of them. But I don't want to read everything word to word because it is a lot. I believe that if I was to be a tribal chairman, that I would be able to help out not only my tribe, but many of the tribes, because I believe in following many of our traditional standards and our traditional teachings. And unfortunately, A lot of our tribal governments do not operate on our traditional government standard. They have all converted to what is now the United States government standard, and that's not cool in my opinion. Anyway, let's get on to the next one. Number 3 is what would I like to accomplish? I always wanted to finish school and be able to go to college. And when I went to college, if I could go to college, I always wanted to major in Native history, Native culture, Native language, Native law, things like that, so I can help my community and the communities around the country when it comes down to Native issues. Another one of my dreams is of accomplishments that I would like to do is to be wealthy to the point to where I can hand out $1 million a day or millions of dollars a day just to anybody out on the street, Joe Schmo, that I don't even know, to see people actually make it further in this country than what the wealthy and rich have actually done in this country, because we still sit here every day as a citizen and we get poorer and poorer and poorer, and these rich pricks get richer every damn day. I don't know about you, but I think it's bull. They all say that we're for the little man, but yet they really don't do a damn thing for the little man. Just saying. All right. The next thing is, why don't we talk about our dreams and why do we not attempt to accomplish them? So here is where the fun of the personal part comes in, because telling you what my dreams are is the easy part. Telling you why I don't think I'm qualified to accomplish some of these and why I feel I will never accomplish some of these is the hard part that is getting to me, because this is where it gets real personal. So, bear with me here. Sorry if I tend to get a little bit nervous or uh, yeah, kind of like this to where I can't figure out my damn words. Sorry, bear with me. This is a bit nerve wracking because I'm not only sharing this to everybody here on YouTube, and I know I've got a few of you here that I do talk to on a regular basis, and I am comfortable sharing this kind of thing with, but YouTube is wide open to the public, so I'm still a little bit nervous about those out there that I do not know that are viewing this. And kind of like yesterday, I hate the negative feedback and stuff like that, and that's why I've always tried to hide things, is because I don't want to deal with that stress. But thanks to Leda, I'm learning to come out of my shell and share this stuff, whether I like to or not. So you may hear some colorful language, you may not. Like I said the other day, I am not going to try and hide anything from you in my personality anymore, and I'm not going to sit here and do this robot shit. So, if you don't like how I talk, I'm sorry, but you're getting me, not what I think you want. So, question one's answer. Why is it that I feel that I am not going to be able to do the things I want to do? Okay. I'm blind. I am legally blind, and I hate going out in public. In fact, I'll show you why. I'm going to break it down just so it is a little bit easier to fit into the camera. But this right here, This right here is my traveling cane. And I don't know how many of you out there that are sighted know what this actually is. But this is my main way to ensure that I do not smack into you or in any object while I'm walking. But this to me is an open sign for people that are not visually impaired to fuck with me. Pardon my language, but this right here is a way for people to screw with the blind and visually impaired. Because when people see this cane, their first thought is we can't see anything. When they think that we cannot see anything, that's when they think that it's all right to start making remarks. That's when they think it's all right to start taking advantage of people. That's when they think it's all right to physically or mentally abuse people. So I hate this thing. Honestly, I do. I've never liked using my cane. But the older I get, the more I realize I have to get over that fear of what everybody thinks seeing me with this. Because I know this here is going to actually help me gain my independence to be able to travel and do things. But it's very, 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 very difficult as a visually impaired person who is very self conscious about their appearance and how other people see them. This is one of my biggest struggles since I've had it. And I've had this cane, this specific cane here, since I was 16 years old. I am now 34. I am 2 months away from being 35 years old, and I hate this damn thing. But I am gaining more comfort slowly but surely with using it publicly. But this is one thing that has held me back quite a bit is my own mental blockage of perception of others perceiving me because of this. You may not realize it, but there are a lot of people in society who will prey on the blind or visually impaired just because they are blind and visually impaired. They think it's all right that they can just, for instance, shortchange us at a cash register. We, some of us, do have an ability to be able to know what our money is and what our money is not. Some people use folding, some people use money identifiers. Some people who are low vision, like myself, have a particular way in what we put our money in our wallets and things like that. And when we pay, we have a certain way that we pull the money out of our wallets as well to be able to pay. And I have personally had an experience where I've been shortchanged on purpose because somebody thought because I was blind or visually impaired by carrying that cane that they could steal from me. So that's one reason I do not like canes. It's very nerve-wracking to always be on the defense because you never know what anybody is thinking, how they're going to treat you, whether they're going to hurt you, whether they're going to steal from you or take advantage of you in any way. By using that cane, I've always been afraid of being seen as a weak person because I have to rely on a device or an apparatus like that to assist me in doing things that you in the sighted community do not have to worry about. Um, sorry, I should have probably broke up some of these a little bit better. I didn't separate some of the sentences. So here we go. There we go. Um, I have a problem with the ability to go traveling, pardon me, because I have actually physically asked people to be my companion to go traveling. Unfortunately, I either get no answers or I get told no. Why do I get told no that I cannot have a companion to go travel? I believe that people don't want to travel with me because they feel like they're going to be a third wheel or like they're going to be some kind of slave for me. Like I'm going to depend on them 100% for everything. And that's not the case. I want somebody to be with me so I know I'm not going to get lost. I want somebody with me so I'm not going to get attacked or taken advantage of in a different city or a different state or a different country if I can ever get the hell out of the United States for once. Um, I've offered people, hey, I'm going to take a bus trip. Hey, I'm going to take a plane trip. I'll pay for your damn ticket. I'll pay the whole fucking way. And I can still not get nobody to go with me. Period. In fact, some of you subscribers already know that this coming year, 2021, that I plan on going on a long distance trip alone to the People of Video conference. Why? Because I have already asked people if they would be willing to go with me a year in advance, and I still have not one person who has responded, yes, I would go with you. Not one person has said, maybe if you paid my way, maybe if you paid part of my way. Nothing. Not one person has accepted the invite or even the possibility of a discounted vacation to travel with me to do something I want to do. And that is one reason I don't think I'll ever get the hell out of this country, is because I'm going to have to do everything my damn self. I'm going to have to go to a bus station or an airport on my own and travel alone and rely on myself and on my cane to get me where I want to go and what I want to do because I can't rely on anybody else. I don't have friends that I can physically go, hey, I'm going to grab you and you're going with me. I don't have friends. Hell, my friends that I do have, we live too far apart now, so I ain't seen them in oh, let's see. Last time I seen my buddy Dennis was about 10 years ago. Close to. Something like that. Well, not entirely 10 years, but it's been close to 10 years. But I've got friends I haven't seen since I was in high school. I don't have friends. Like I said yesterday, a lot of the people I have had friendships with or gotten close to have passed away quite a bit in the last few years. And that's been another one of my big struggles is I don't have the support team I used to. Where is it? All right. I'm also afraid of getting lost if I go out on my own. You know, if I'm in an area that I am familiar with stuff, I'm all right. But to go to an entire city that I have no familiarity with at all, like none, I don't think I'd do good at traveling anywhere with my cane. I would be too nervous to be able to figure out how to get there because I would have to rely on my cane so I don't bump into anything else. But then I would also have to try and rely on my phone to direct me to get me there. In trying to listen to an environment around you plus listen to the response of your cane, plus listen to a phone to give you directions is not an easy task. You can only listen to so many things at one time without being overwhelmed and having issues. And to listen to a cane on the ground and listen to the environment, plus try having an earpiece in to listen to GPS directions, it just doesn't work. Now, maybe if there was a way to make the speaker on the phone a little bit louder so you could hear the GPS while it was sitting on your hip rather than having an earbud in or a Bluetooth in or something like that, it might be a little bit easier. But for me at the moment, I don't see it happening. Okay. Um, Sorry about that. My mom was letting me know what was going on real quick. Um, all right. For instance, story time. You ready for story time? Here, actually, let me see if there's anybody in here real quick. All right. Story time. Hey, blind guy Greg, what's going on, brother? Thank you for coming and supporting me. Hey, CAD Pro, thank you also. I greatly appreciate you guys. This topic today is like really nerve-wracking for me. So I apologize if I repeat myself too much or anything like that because this challenge is really making me come out of my box. I'm telling you. They're making us touch on some very personal subjects, and this is something I really wouldn't usually do. But the whole point of this Leda challenge is to help me get the confidence to be able to help out our community because I have been so damn afraid of sharing my personal story because of everybody else's opinion of me. But, all right, are you ready? Story time. I got two separate stories for you on this whole traveling thing. Okay, this is another reason why I am nervous about traveling. Um, for those of you who don't know, from 2000 to 2008, I volunteered for the United States Marine Corps. I was an unpaid volunteer, and in that time, I met a lot of Marine Corps brothers online that I developed very close relationships with. And one of them is one of my best brothers, and he is one of the people that I know I can get a hold of at any point in time and have like a cry fest to, and he won't care because he understands what I'm dealing with. But my brother Phil and his wife Connie, the very first time I ever went to see them was just after I retired from the Marine Corps. And not that I chose to retire, I was forced to retire because of the situation I had for a contractual agreement with the Corps and my commanding officer at the time. But I decided after my retirement that I was going to go see my brother and my sister, adopted family, as I said, Marine Corps family. And this is going to be my very first trip alone anywhere. Anytime prior to this, it has always been with a family member or a very close family friend. And this trip, I decided that for the Marine Corps birthday, which is November 10th, the very beginning of the fall winter transition, right? I decided at the transition of fall into winter to go to South Dakota. Well, this trip didn't turn out quite as well as I had hoped it would have because I had a terrible experience. I have never liked taking a I have never wanted to take a Greyhound trip ever since this. Ever since that trip, I do not want to take a bus. At the time, I lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And when I decided to leave to go there for a week, it was cold here in Michigan. No biggie, right? It took an hour to go from my house to the bus station. Get to the bus station. I sat at that bus station waiting for my bus for 2 hours. I finally get on my bus. It took them another hour before we left. We had to come down the highway and go to the next kind of metropolitan city, and we went to the airport for our first transfer. Because the bus was so late to get to me and then to get down to that next stop, our whole itinerary for the schedule got thrown off. It was another 45 minutes to an hour before the next bus showed up. When that bus showed up, we sat there for another hour so they could get everybody on the bus, get all their luggage underneath the bus, and then start heading towards Chicago. When we started heading towards Chicago, I was not aware because it was not on our paper ticket for the itinerary that we were going to be making 6 more unscheduled stops before we made it to Chicago. Once we made it to Chicago Grand Central Station, I was informed by my bus driver that I had missed my next bus. So, now that my bus driver told me that I had missed my next bus, that means I have to go see customer service to find out when the next bus is and all the things that are going to have to happen in order for me to be on the next bus, because now they have to give you a new itinerary and everything else. Okay? I went and seen them and they told me my next bus was going to leave in 7 hours. 7 hours. I had to sit at Grand Central Station in Chicago at midnight. Okay? So now there is practically a whole day shot just going from Grand Rapids to Chicago. Now I have to sit in Chicago and wait 7 hours before I get to leave. When it's time for me to get onto that bus to go from Chicago to Minneapolis, that bus driver told me I could not go because they screwed up when they gave me my next itinerary, because the bus that I was to catch at Minneapolis to go to my final destination only ran once a day. So now they were talking about making me stay in Chicago an entire full day with no food, no money for food, and nothing else to be able to do. I managed, because at that time I was going for Marine Corps birthday, so I had my dress uniform with me. I went into the men's bathroom, I changed out of my civilian clothes, and I put on my Marine Corps dress blues. Then I walked back out and I talked to the supervisor and told him my situation. That supervisor was awesome. He apologized and he went right over with me to that bus driver and told him he did not care that my bus only ran once a day, providing that I could find somebody to give me a ride from my bus stop to my actual location where I needed to be dropped off. They would allow me to get on that bus to head to my final destination, so I did not have to sit there for a full day. Okay? After that, I got on that bus. We went all the way to Minneapolis. Got on the platform at Minneapolis, and yet again we had delays. Those delays turned into another bus trip from there to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and that was now my final destination because the actual last bus to go another hour away only ran once a day. So I actually had to call my adopted brother and sister and see if they could pick me up. And thankfully, they did come all the way out from their house over an hour because of the route that they took to get me. Okay? So that there in itself took me 22 hours just to go from here to there. Okay? Then I spent the entire week in South Dakota. After that, on my trip home, oh my God, that bus broke down 20 times before we even made it out of the small little city I was in. 20 times that bus broke down because the brakes were not working. You know the little buzzer that you occasionally hear on like a school bus or a city bus or anything like that when there's an issue? That's what we heard 20 separate times for the brakes. We eventually made it to St. Paul, Minnesota, and transferred from one bus to another after sitting in a parking lot for like 3 hours. Once they got us on that bus, we went to Minneapolis. When we went to Minneapolis, you would think transfer from one bus to the next bus will, reverse of on the way out, right? Wrong. I got to sit there for a while before I got to go to Chicago. Then, when I did finally get to Chicago, I was advised that I had to wait a little while because my luggage that was on the bus that broke down was not transferred from the broke down bus to the new bus. It was left on there and put onto a secondary bus that was 3 hours behind us. So now, not only did I have the issue all the way out there and then starting to come back, but then they turned around and left my luggage on that bus. And I had to wait for it, but yet again. Once I finally got my luggage, I had noticed that they actually broke my Marine Corps sword, which had been carefully packed within my luggage because they were throwing our luggage. It took me almost 30 hours to get home on a trip that should have only taken 16 to 18 hours. So I have never, ever liked going on a bus ever since then. Second story, I went to the Retina Foundation for the Southwest for a clinical trial for my eyes for X-linked retinitis pigmentosa. And that was my first time in a plane. That was also a big freaking ordeal for me going through security and then coming home because we ended up getting stranded at the airport because of it snowing. And for you that may have never gone through Chicago O'Hare Airport, I highly, 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 highly recommend that you avoid Chicago O'Hare at all costs. That is not a good place for a blind person to go for a flight. Avoid it. When I went through there, people for their staff were douches. Beyond disrespectful, angry attitudes, and they just, it was like their whole day was being about pissed off at everybody. Um we ended up, my buddy that had to go with me, thankfully at that time, because I had no option. Somebody had to be paid by the government to actually go with me to make sure I made it there and back, because I was unable to see because of the eye tests. Um, but when we got to Chicago on our way back, finally, we got there and it was 9 o'clock at night. No biggie, right? Your plane's delayed. You get there a little bit later. No big deal. You can go to the airport. You got the food court and bathrooms and everything else that you're supposed to be able to go do when you're at the airport. Wrong. Not Chicago O'Hare for me. We got there. Food court was closed. 9 o'clock at night. Not a single thing open. Their water fountains have the little scissor gates across them, so you can't even get a drink. There's one bathroom in the entire airport on the opposite side that is open. No vending machines to be able to access because they as well are behind these scissor gates, so nobody can get to them. I spent 18 hours in Chicago O'Hare Airport without any food or any water because they had everything locked up. So I have a big fear of traveling alone because of those situations. I know I'm going to have to get over that, because if I don't, I'm never going to be able to go anywhere. And I'm sorry that the stories took a little bit long. I'm not trying to take up your time. I promise you, I am trying to get through this as quickly as I possibly can for you. That way we can actually discuss some of these things if you would like to. I can answer questions if you'd like. I'm just trying to get through this as quick as possible because I'm sitting here nervous as can be. Um, but yes, I honestly have hated traveling because of that particular couple of situations. The bus trip was crap. The plane trip was crap. I do not want to have to deal with that stress. It would be so much easier if I could just have somebody that is sighted to go with me so I don't have to have that worry. Um, I've actually tried, oh, I'm skipping ahead here. There we go. Another one of the things I've wanted to do around traveling is I wanted to do a long walk. I don't know if you have heard of the long walk that has happened within the Native community from one side of the country to the other, but I had a similar concept myself when that one was started. Excuse me. Um, I originally, for my long walk, wanted to go from every tribe here in Michigan to spread the awareness about the wolves and the oil pipeline breaking and in the environmental damage that has happened, to unite people to stand against the pipelines and the discrimination and racism that we face as natives, as we face as disabled people, just in general education about the downside of what happens when pipelines break, because many people do not understand that when those pipelines break, that we are contaminating not only the earth on top but the earth below, and when that oil seeps into the ground, it gets into our water. When it gets into our water, it is now contaminated water. That is now cancer water. It is diseased water. Okay, Diseased earth, diseased water does not help us as a human species. It does not help the animal species, and it sure as hell is not going to help Mother Earth. Oil is going to be the one thing that kills all of us because we are way too dependent on fossil fuel. There are alternative oils, cannabis oil, for instance. 1 acre, 1 acre of cannabis equals 3,000 barrels of oil. Okay? 3,000 barrels of oil out of an acre of a plant. A plant. That right there is renewable energy because you could grow that plant and it can provide textiles, it can provide medicines, it can provide plastics, it can provide fuel. Just saying. Whereas fossil fuels, the only thing you're getting out of it is a lubricant, a plastic, and waste. Because the more oil we pull out of the earth, the more we fuck up the earth. Think of it this way, okay? Really. What happens if you take oil out of a motor? If you have a car or a truck or a small engine or a plane, don't matter what it is, whatever kind of motor it is, you take the oil out of that motor and it's going to seize. What do you think's happening right now? Why do you think we're having such a climate issue? We're burning so much oil and we are taking so much oil out of the ground, we're killing ourselves. Because whatever happens to the earth is going to happen to us. Everything we are came from her. So if she's hurt, we're hurt. And the more we hurt her, the more she's going to hurt us. This give and take kind of thing. But in the sense, this is where we as a human species need to evolve. We have to start thinking about these kind of things and do things to make it better. We can't continue on the destructive path that we're all on. And I am guilty of this myself. I admit it 100%. Why do I say I'm guilty of this? Because, well, I have this cell phone here. I've got this new laptop. I've got plastic all over. I've got vinyl records behind this camera right now up in the thousands, okay? I know I'm guilty. Guilty just as everybody else on this earth. We have all done so much to hurt ourselves through Mother Earth that we have no one to blame but ourselves. Sorry for my rant. It's just something that really irritates me, and it kind of does go along with this topic, sort of. Another reason I feel like I will not be able to accomplish some of these things, like being an astronaut or being a deep sea diver or being able to go to college and pursue the degrees I would actually like to pursue, is because one, I do not have the education or the money that it would take to go and get an education to be an astronaut or a deep sea diver or even to go to college in general. Unfortunately, not that I'm like to announce this, but I don't even have a damn GED. No high school diploma, no college degree, no GED, nothing. Unfortunately, my school districts have screwed me since I was in elementary school. So my education, though I spent all 12 years in school, I don't have credit because I got screwed by my school district. You know, George Bush Sr., okay? George Bush Sr., when he was in office, he created the thing called Head Start. And Head Start had an age requirement for you in order to go to school. If you were under the age of 5, you had to go to preschool. If you were 5 years old or older, you could go straight into kindergarten, didn't need to do preschool, didn't have to do Head Start, none of that, right? Well, I was 4 and 9 months when the school district implemented that, and I had gotten signed up for my first year of school. Because of that, I was taken right out of kindergarten and I was put back 2 grades into Head Start. Even though I already knew a lot of my ABCs and my 1, 2, 3s, and I could have a nice little conversation already at almost 5 years old, it did not matter, not one bit. You didn't meet the age requirements, you're getting sent back. There's the first screw up on them for me. Okay? I went through school. I will admit I am not the greatest student. There was a lot of times that I did screw up. I was quite rebellious in school. I will admit it. I got suspended a couple times too because of the way I chose to act out with some of the things that happened with me in school. Um my freshman year of high school, I was in Grand Rapids and I went to Grand Rapids Central High School. Okay. I was one of like 20 light skinned or white kids in my entire school. I was the only native in my school. Only native in that school. One native. Approximately 20 that were Caucasian. And then the rest were black or Hispanic. Not that I'm trying to say this to be like racist or anything. I'm just saying I went to a school and I was outnumbered by the other ethnicities. And because of that, I got bullied and beat up quite a bit. And because of that, I started skipping at that school. I would go and purposely leave after the first bell so I would not have to deal with the bullying and getting picked on and getting beat up because I was a light skinned native, because I am blind. I've been disabled all my life, but I've done my best to hide it and accomplish things because people tell me I can't. I don't think that I would have had so many issues in school if some of my teachers would have actually done their jobs. Now, I'm not referencing like yesterday to my principal Jamie because she's awesome. She went above and beyond. But my other teachers in some of them other schools, they were the problem. They did not help. They did not do their job. Because to me, when you're a teacher and you see one of your students getting bullied, when your student's getting beat up, not by one person, but by multiple people, it is your job to go and defend that student. It is your job to go out and tell the principal or the police liaison or whoever the fuck is in charge of that school to go get them kids off of whoever the hell they're bullying or beating up. But did they? No. They let it continue. I actually had one of my own teachers tell me in my class that Native Americans are dead. Every one of them are gone. We do not exist. We eliminated them all. And then when I pulled out my tribal ID card that said that I am a federally recognized Native, what does that mean? He told me I was a liar. So I've dealt with racism from my own teachers. That there has always led me to believe that my entire time in school was a waste of time because they could not indoctrinate me into being a hateful little asshole like they are trying to make a lot of the younger generation now out to be, because they are not educating them the truth, because they are not showing them what it is truly like in this damn country. We keep telling everybody, oh, you could do whatever you want. You could do whatever you want, but it's not true. The only way you're going to accomplish whatever the hell you want to is to not allow anybody to hold you back. That means you're going to have to fight your way tooth and nail on every damn thing, especially in the disabled community. Everything. We do not, and we will never get it easy. Ever. Everybody looks at us as if we're weak, as if we're incapable, as if we are unable to do a fucking thing for ourselves. And that is a part of the indoctrination that they teach in those schools. That's why they have the special education system set up the way that they do, to eliminate the ability for the disabled to get a functional job, to be a functional human being in society. They want us to rely on them so they can dictate to us what the fuck we do. And that's not cool. I'm sorry. I know I'm dropping the F-bomb a few times and I apologize. But these are things that really, 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 really piss me the hell off. Like I said, I'm not going to hide my feelings or my personality for this channel anymore. So you're either going to accept the words that I am saying the way that I say them, or you're not. And I am sorry if you do not agree with my opinion, but as I said yesterday, we all are entitled to our own opinion. That is your First Amendment right. You have the right to your religion. You have the right to free speech. You have the right to assembly. You have the right to the press. This right here is freedom of the press, because this is a multimedia source. So I'm using two of my rights in the First Amendment right now. This is what I want you all to do with your channels as well. Because if we don't, we're all going to get looked at the same way as everybody has for so long. We need to start breaking these misconceptions and stereotypes. I'm tired of feeling like I'm a target. I'm tired of feeling like I'm weak because some person that's got 20/20 vision thinks that they can mock us or make fun of us because we have a cane, or because we wear sunglasses, or we might have a speech issue, or we might have a physical deformity, or whatever the hell the issue might be. We in the disabled community have to put up with so much shit, and it's not cool. It's irritating. I know it's irritating. It's hurtful, and I know it's hurtful. And I hope I'm not overstepping anywhere in here, because I'm not saying this to be an asshole to you. I'm not. I'm hoping that by saying these things that I'm helping educate a lot of you about some of the things that we put up with, that we shouldn't have to. Some of the fears that we all hold, that I still hold, and I'm trying to fight through right now. That's the whole purpose of this challenge, is to make us come out, be ourselves, share our story, our experience, educate those on everything that we've been hiding and keeping secret for so long. That was the whole purpose of this channel. And because of this challenge, I am actually coming out and telling you how I honestly fucking feel. Previous to this, I can guarantee that not one of you would have thought that I felt this way. I would almost guarantee that you would never have thought, based on my past videos, that I would go on a rant like this. And I do apologize because I don't mean to rant at you, but I have to get these things off my chest. By reading these things, I put myself into an anger moment because I know I'm not alone anymore. Thanks to this past week, with the challenge and with everybody's input on Facebook and everything, I can't thank you all enough for empowering me to open up like this. Because there's going to be a lot more open discussion like this in the future. I will guarantee it. But I don't want to keep going on this rant, so I am going to get into the rest of this part so I can get into the chat and be able to respond to you all. Because of the way that our education system is, I feel it holds a lot of us back. And on that note, I'm going to go to the next part because I don't want to stay stuck on the whole education being the only downfall. Okay. Like I said, I want to start a church. Some of you know that I actually have a page on Facebook already and have talked to me about it, called Blind Faith Church, which is a non-denominational church that is specifically designed by me to help us in the blind community. For us, no matter what religion you are, whatever faith or spirituality you are, I want that to be an open forum for us to help educate each other. Because no matter where we're at in the world, we all have our own challenges. We are all of a different religion or faith or spiritual belief. Hell, you might even be an atheist for all I know, and I will openly welcome you to that page. Or if I can ever actually get a physical location, you will be welcome at my church. Why? Because it's still a belief. It's still a faith or religious concept. Even though you may not believe that there's a God or a devil or angels or whatever the hell, you might not believe the Bible. Trust me, I can't 100% believe that Bible either. Why? I'm a native. My grandfather is Chief Pontiac. Okay? Chief Pontiac's most famous saying, my grandfather's most famous saying from back in the 1700s is that they came here with a book, raped our land, raped our women, and told us that we should be thankful for being saved. So I'm sorry, but Jesus did not die for me on a cross. My grandfathers, my ancestors, those warriors that fought for our tribal nations to be here today, they are the ones that died for me to be here. And two, not to be hating or anything about Christians or Catholics or anything, because I was a Baptist for the longest time. I was in the Marine Corps, which is Catholic Reformed. I have studied religion. I have friends that I still speak to about religion because I want to learn as much as I can about the different beliefs and the similarities and the differences, because whether you realize it or not, 99% of the everything between the religions in the faiths are all the same. The only difference is they change the wording. That's it. Some of them, they actually took out entire freaking sentences. Some of them don't even have entire stories in them. But that's the downfall to history being writ by the winner rather than history being writ to be truthful. Because everybody throughout history has hated on each other for one reason or another, and that's why we've had so many wars. That's why we have so much hate, and everything still going on today is because everybody would much rather sit here and talk shit about each other and not know each other rather than asking questions. Rather than going out and researching. They're just going to take everybody's word for it. Oh, well, this person's that way or this religion's that way without actually researching. And that is a downfall to everyone in society. And I can't say everyone because not everyone, but I hope you understand that society as a whole has a good majority of it who are stuck in that concept. We're just too narrow minded. Okay, I have had the thought that people will still see me as a I don't want my church to be standard. And I don't want anybody to see me as a standard pastor or a minister or ordained or spiritual leader or whatever, because I'm not. I'll tell you that right now. I am one of those that will fight tooth and nail for everybody to have it their way. We are all equal. And to me, equality means you have the right to do what the hell you want without me going, hey, I don't like that. Because I don't like it doesn't mean you can't do it. And that's how these laws these days are starting to turn out. Like this whole damn mask bullshit right now with COVID. And I don't care if I get demonetized for saying COVID or coronavirus or whatever the fuck, because this whole situation to me is a farce. And I'm not saying it's a farce as in it's fake, but I'm saying it's a farce in the sense that we're being lied to on purpose to manipulate things for the government and for the rich. I will not deny that there is a virus, because I'm sure that there probably is a new version of the coronavirus, because whether you realize this or not, Corona has been around for a long fucking time. Lysol. You look at a Lysol can, it will tell you right on it, it will kill coronavirus, SARS, MERS, all kinds of other crap. But they're not going to sit here and tell you that because they want everybody to be in fear. If everybody is in fear and in chaos, they're going to listen. If everybody listens, they have control. If they have control, they can tell you what you can do, what you cannot do, when and when you can't. They could tell you, oh, okay, well, look at how many people are unemployed right now. That puts them on government money. That makes us all reliant on the government. Okay? If we become reliant on them, what stops them from telling us that we cannot leave our homes at any point? What stops them from saying, okay, well, we got this virus, you can't go out of your house for the next 2 months. And oh, by the way, we're not going to give you $1,200 for a stimulus check. We're going to give you uh, uh, a $1 gold piece, and we're going to give you a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk, and we're going to tell you to sit there and like it. Because whether you realize it or not, in some situations, that has actually been what's practically happened right now. That first stimulus check came out, there are still people in the millions waiting for that first check, at risk of losing their homes, at risk of dying or not getting the medications and things that they need. If they can control us, then we no longer have our freedom. They can continue to manipulate everything how they want and not have fear of us standing up for ourselves. Okay. This whole coronavirus, in my opinion, is all political. If you look at the administration that we have and how they've been doing things over these last few years, you could put 2 and 2 together to make 4. 1 and 1 together to make 2. I'm just saying. They are doing their best to turn each of us against each other, so we will not fight back against them in their corruption. We have over 500 people in our government that should not be in our government. Everyone in that higher tier, all the way down to the lowest tier of government, 90% of them, 99.9% of them are corrupt in one way or another, whether it's their own agenda or an agenda for their political party. Either way, the rich get rich, we get poorer, and we get more issues and more restrictions. And it's bull, because these religious leaders around our country could have actually been doing something to help us prevent this situation of control a long time ago. All the millions of dollars that they waste on them mega churches, all the millions of dollars they waste on them Learjets. You know, I don't understand how we can sit here, we can sit here and continue to fight each other over every little thing when it's not each other we should be fighting. It's the powers that be that are making the situation the way it is that we all need to be fighting. Because, like I said, I honestly believe that if our system was designed to be equal, we in the disabled community would not have nowhere near as many issues as we do. We'd still be able to have a job and not have to collect SSI or SSDI. We would be able to go out and not have to worry about going to a store right now and having an issue of getting ripped off by a cashier, or having an issue trying to use a debit card because they keep altering the way that they're set up. There is so much that I could just go on a rant for hours on this crap. But I don't want to keep doing that. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next one, okay? I want to be a president or the chief of my tribe. Why do I feel I won't get into this position, or why am I not attempting to get into this position? I have actually spoke on this one to some of my friends and family before, and some of them have thought it would be great to have me as a president because I am outspoken and I can get some very good points for the reasons why we shouldn't be doing things as a country and the reasons why we should be doing things as a country, and some of the laws and things about how they're interpreted and how they're not interpreted and all that good crap. Either way, why do I feel I'm not going to make it to that point? Well, I actually ran for my tribal government in 2012. And out of 5,000 people in my tribe, I only got 8 votes, including myself. 5,000 people, 8 votes. Now, with my 8 votes, I may not have won the election, but by running and doing my campaign, I did accomplish one part that I did set out to do, and that was to get my cousin, who was my chairman, out of office for ethics violations. So even though I failed to win the position, I actually did win, in a sense, to get somebody that was corrupt out of office. But it backfired because even though he violated the ethics, the person that replaced him was the treasurer. That treasurer was the man that actually signed the checks for the first one to be able to violate the ethics. So we ended up having to run a second person out of office. And unfortunately, when we ran him out of office, they did a special election and only certain people were notified and the rest of us were not. So we did not get to vote on time. And the douchebag that we had previously, my cousin, is back in being in charge again. And yeah, maybe I shouldn't refer to him as a douchebag, but I don't really care. I really don't have respect for the man anymore. He's lied to us. In my opinion, he's stolen from us. And if I had my way, I'd beat the living hell out of him for the stuff that he has done that is so corrupt and keeping us behind when we could have been prospering as a tribal nation. I feel that I would not be elected because, as I said earlier, I do not have the education that everybody is going to want. My tribal government actually has grandfathered me in for me to be able to run for elections because they implemented a new standard that states that you have to have at least like a 2 years bachelor's degree or some crap like that in order to be on tribal government. And thankfully, when they implemented that, because I've already been out of school for so long, they had to grandfather me in. Thankfully. Had they not grandfathered me in because of how old I am, I wouldn't have been able to run. And I still wouldn't be able to run because they think that anybody without college degrees doesn't have a qualification in order to run our tribe. When in fact, that's not how it's supposed to be. It should not matter what your educational level is because our ancestors, we've been here for 50,000 years. They didn't have an education system like we do today, and it seems like they did pretty damn good to me. You know, when we had the war between the colonizers and the natives, seems like my grandfather and my other ancestors did a pretty damn good job of communicating between the nations, even though that their silver-tongued devil was real good at taking our land from us. We may not have had the same education back then and still don't today, but we had a different standard. Our government today was supposed to be based off of Native American government system. We were a republic, not a democracy. Republic, not Republican, a republic. A true republic is for the people, by the people. A democracy is a clusterfuck because those two there, the democracy is a farce. That is really fake because there was no democracy to a republic. It was everybody stood and got counted. Everybody had a right to speak their mind and have it known. Today's version of democracy and the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, they're jokes. Their system that they've got now was created to keep us right where we're at and benefit them in office in them only. Look at how many of our senators have been in office for 40, 50, 60 years. These people should have never been there that long. Why? Because they're corrupt. They have always been one sided, and that is to control everything so they can all profit from us. The Democratic Party profits from us, the Republic profits from us. Their whole thing is lying to us to get what they want. They say they represent us, but they really do not represent us. If they represented us, every one of us that are disabled right now on my channel would be able to go file an Americans with Disabilities Act lawsuit for many, 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 many reasons, and it wouldn't cost us a damn cent because they're corrupt. That's why we have so many reasons that we cannot actually file an ADA lawsuit. Though it is a good thing to mention the ADA lawsuit if you do have them kind of an issue, because it might put the fear in the business owner, but they don't want us to do things. They want us to be their little puppets and do what they want us to do and like it and not do anything else. Um, the reason I don't meet the requirements to go to college is because, as I said, I don't have a GED. I don't have a diploma. I felt that that whole situation was discrimination because if they can keep the disabled where they want them independent, then they can control them. If they can keep the natives under control, then they can control them. If they could keep a minority of any color in check to control them, that's what they want to do. We need to band together, not only as disabled people, but as a society in general. Because there's a lot of things here in this list that I think would be accomplished if people would actually be more open to our community, in the VIP community, in the blind community, in the disabled community, differently abled community in general. Everybody has such a bent out of shape perception of what it means to be disabled or blind or differently abled, and them stereotypes rule everything for everyone. All right, I do believe. Yep, right here is the last sentence. It's pretty much what I just said. Basically, is if they can deny us anything in the establishment, it's good, because if they can deny us in the establishment, then they're going to control us. And why do they want to control us? Because they are in fear that if we were to unite as a people, no matter what your race, color, disability may be, if we were to unite against the establishment, we outnumber them, we outpower them. And the best way to keep the establishment going and keep the corruption going is to keep everybody in check. The best way to control a people is to control their medicine, to control their food, to control their jobs. Our government has gotten too big for itself. We have stepped away from what the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights is actually supposed to stand for. Just saying. Some of them are the exact reasons I have so many different fears. And I think that that's a reason why this challenge was so important for me to participate. Because now I am not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. I am not going to sit here and hide my opinion on what I believe is going on. I am not going to hide how I feel about my situation or how I feel that our government or the society around us perceives us and how we are treated. I don't think we need to put up with it anymore. I think it's time that we all start doing the same thing. We got to do some soul searching. I know it's not easy because these past 4 days have been very, very nerve wracking for me. And now that I'm actually opening up like this, it's actually getting a lot more easy to be able to speak with you. And that's why I can't thank you all here as my friends, as my subscribers, and my viewers that may not even be subscribed. That's why I appreciate everybody coming here and giving your feedback and hitting me up in Facebook and in private messages and everything because we all have our own opinions. We all have our own fears. We have our own perception of how everybody else views us, and we have our own thoughts of how we are viewed. And I think that's one thing that we all have to start really thinking about is what we want, why we want it, and how we're going to get it. Because there is a way for us all to get what we want. It's just going to take a lot of work. Might not be something we can get accomplished within a week or two. Might not be something you get done with a month or two. It might take you 5, 10 years to do. But I think it's important that we all really start thinking on some of these things because I've learned so much about myself, honestly, this weekend that I shocked myself, honestly. Like I said, I broke down the other day in my Facebook group. When I did my stream, I broke down crying like a little damn girl while I was sitting there talking to 500, 600 people that I don't know. Well, there is a couple of them in there that I do know, but the majority of everybody I do not know. And for me to open up to a point to where I start crying on a live stream, that's a great accomplishment to open up. All right, now I'll quit ranting on that so I can see what you're saying in the chat. Um, okay. Hey, Greg. Yes, we are definitely targets. That is for sure. Oh, Newark. Oh, I'm so gonna have to talk to you about Newark because I'm actually, like I said, I'm planning on going to People of Video Conference next year, which is actually in Albany, New York. And this, if I can actually accomplish this task on my own, it'll be my first time flying alone out of state. And I am honestly very, 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 very freaking nervous because I'm afraid of what's going to happen if I have to go alone. I don't I don't know if it's just out of the fear that I might get lost, if it's the fear that I might get taken advantage or hurt. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I have a very, very bad fear about going on this trip alone. But I know I need to get over that fear in order to accomplish more on my own in life in general. Because if I can't accomplish this, this means I'll never be able to go anywhere without somebody with me. And I do not want to be reliant on somebody else at all. I would prefer that I could be 100% independent. That has been my ultimate goal throughout my entire life is I want to be 100% independent. I do not want to rely on one of my cousins. I do not want to rely on my mother, my father. I I would love to be married, but I don't want to rely on my wife either or a girlfriend or whoever I might end up with. I've gone out and I've been in a few relationships that I thought were awesome. I thought I was going to have that support. I thought I was going to have that lifelong partner who would support me and never, ever leave me. But I was wrong. Now, I will say that I am still friends with my exes, and they do still support me. And I know we still have uh, mutual like feelings for each other, but I don't know that we would ever be in a position to where I would be able to 100% um, feel as though they're not going to leave me because I've been left already. If you're going to leave me once, who's to say that if we were going to get together down the road by chance that you wouldn't do it again? Or maybe I was to find somebody else think the same thing again and get my heart broke again. Oh, hey, thanks for showing up, Greg. Greatly appreciated, brother. Thanks for commenting and watching with me. I will definitely look forward to hitting you up and chatting with you about the airport in Newark, traveling and stuff. I greatly appreciated it. We'll see you around here next time. I will be live again tomorrow, rest of this month. Um, only reason I'm late today is because the internet decided it wanted to go out for a few hours, so I unfortunately missed being on a channel for a panel this morning. I missed out on two of my friends and influencers in the community who are helping me to be able to understand ways for us as a disabled community to get off of disability and the best ways and easiest ways for us to do it, because the systems might work good for them, but I'm working with them and asking questions to make sure I could figure out the best way for us because we are in a completely different situation. And because of that, after today's stream, I will be going back over to their streams so I can catch up on what I missed. So I've got one heck of a busy day today, that is for sure. Um, if there's anything that you would like to ask at this point about my dreams of what I want to be, what I want to do, or what I want to accomplish, please feel free to drop that into the chat and I will be more than happy to answer whatever question you might have about what I've talked about today, whether it's on my dreams or maybe it's one of the little rants that I went off on too. Um, if you want, you can message me on Facebook. You can send me an email if you don't necessarily want to put your question into the chat as well. Um, I am totally fine with that. If you want to remain anonymous, it's fine with me. If you have any questions about the challenge that I'm participating in or anything else, you can do that too as well. I'm open. Give a couple seconds, see if got anything you won't ask. Um, if you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can stay updated. I do have a series of videos that will be coming out every Monday for the next 8 weeks, I do believe now. And they are all geared towards ways to get off of disability. I am going to try each Monday with these videos to go through, and I will try and answer anything that you have about that specific platform of getting off of disability. And if there's anything that you might have for a question that I am unable to answer, I will do some research and get back to you, or I can get a hold of some of those in my network who might have a better answer and see if they can help us with that as well. But I am not seeing any questions pop up. All right. But if there are no questions for me today, then I think I will hop my butt off of here because now I have to go complete this challenge on Facebook for the day. And hopefully, I do not go off on a rant there like I did here. But, well, if I do, I guess I'll take the repercussions of my statement as they come at me. Anyway, I hope all of you who came and joined me today have a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay dry, stay cool if you're in one of them areas where it's like ungodly hot right now, or stay warm because I know a few of you have actually told me that it's cold in your area today. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Remember, noon to 1 tomorrow, and every day this month, I will be going live, and we will be discussing the ways to get off of disability as well as the Leda challenge topics. So I thank you all for joining me here on Consult the Blind Guy today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and found value in it, and I hope that my experience and my rants gave you some kind of insight in feeling that you know you're not alone anymore, because I go through a lot of the same situations. And I look forward to your comments and questions below, and I will see you next time.